Hey guys, hope everyone is well. We're going to go over our Dragon team. So we got a Dragon 25 auto speed run team. It does an average run time of 102. This is really consistent. It varies between 1 minute to 106. As you can see, I've done 74 runs just now when I got home from work, and it averaged out at 102. It's a really consistent team. It used to be faster. So it used to be a 50-second run, but Urogrim nerf basically slowed it down by about 10 seconds. But it's still really viable, and it's still one of the fastest teams out there that I know of. So we'll go over the team setup to start off with. Then I'll show you it in action, and then we'll get into a bit of detail about their gear and that side of things. So the champs we're using is Urogrim lead. So he's got a 23% speed boost or speed aura. Then we got Ghostborn, Seer, Bad El, and Kymar. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Urogrim and Bad El put out enough buffs for Seer to rip off. Ghostborn also puts out attack up, which is another buff for Seer to rip off. Ghostborn can't be resisted with his A3, which is the defense down, which basically means that every run you're going to clear those waves. So you've got enough buffs to kill for waves, and the defense down's never going to miss. So you're going to get to a dragon every time with no issue. And then we've also got Kymar in there for the resets and also extra poisons. So straight away, stat-wise, the turn order is quite easy. We got Bad El going first, then we got Ghostborn, then we got Urogrim, then we got Seer, then we got Kymar. Once again, standard for basically destroying waves. You have Seer going last. Seer does a load of damage. Move on to the next wave. Kymar straight away resets. Then you're bang straight back into the same routine that you did in the first wave, and then you're at the boss within 15 seconds. Speed-wise, you do want to make sure Kymar is your fastest. That way, when you get to the second wave, he'll be going straight away. So he'll get the reset off before anyone has a turn. And as far as Seer's speed, my Seer's set up for Fire Knight. These are the stats I use her for Fire Knight. And by the time she gets to Dragon anyway, she dies at the Dragon. You don't really need her at the Dragon. So literally we only care about the speed requirement for clearing for waves, and that's it really. The main concept behind this team is to basically get to the dragon fast, then just lay all the poisons onto the dragon, Ghostborn hitting quite hard with his abilities, and everyone basically piling poisons onto the dragon to kill him within sort of like 40 seconds. So let's get into a few runs of this. Like you see, I've just done 74 runs, but I'll just show you one run at ×1 speed and then one run at ×2 speed. So let's get this started. So here's our team. Let's go over the AI control. So the AI setup is quite simple. You turn off Urogrim's A2 because you don't need it. It slows down a run because all the time he's using his A2, he's not using his A1, which is basically for poison place. Or he's not using his A3, which is also for poison place. Ghostborn, you turn off his A2. Basically, it's a heal reduction. You don't need heal reduction. It takes up a debuff slot, which you don't want. His A1 just puts decreased defense, which you're going to have on a boss anyway. His A2 just puts decreased defense. So you're not taking up a buff slot or a debuff slot with his heal reduction. So make sure you turn off his A2. Seer, you want Seer to always prioritize her A3. Bad El, you can just leave as he is. And Kymar, I get him to use his A2 straight away, but you could always get him to use his A1 straight away. After that point, he can just run as his AI intends, basically, so default. So let's get into a run. We'll start it up on ×1 speed first, just so you can see the mechanics. And I can talk through the mechanics a little bit. So ×1 speed. Bad El puts out some poisons, which means Seer can do more damage. And you can see all the buffs we got there are just enough to nuke that wave. Then Kymar resets straight away as soon as we get to this wave. And then it's exact same rotation as before. And we're straight through to the boss. And at this point, basically, we want everyone to be piling on as many poisons as possible. Like I say, Ghostborn would have had his A2 then and would have landed a heal reduction debuff, which would have taken up one of these slots, which we don't want. But you'll just see poisons will start getting stacked. Even with Urogrim's nerf, where you only 2 hits now instead of 4 hits, it's still incredibly good. Hopefully, yep, Seer dies here, which just means it'll be a little bit faster for his poison place. We will just speed up to ×2 now, because it's pretty much just going to be putting down poisons until the dragon is dead. Just pay attention to Ghostborn's damage though, because Ghostborn does hit pretty hard. He's hitting for about 30k in A1. And then when War Master procs, it's he's doing about 100k a hit, which is quite nice. As you can see, we nearly killed the dragon there, and dragon goes down. Anything good? No. Okay. But it's fairly self-explanatory. We'll do one at ×2 speed, just so you can see the full rotation and its full speed. Wave 1 goes down, straight in the reset. All the poisons out, Seer nukes. And then basically start stacking up the poisons. Like I mentioned as well at the start of this is a 100% win rate. There's literally no chance of this failing. The only way it does fail is if your game crashes, basically. But there's literally no way of this failing. Famous last words. We have done around... we've probably done best part about 2,000 runs with this team, and it hasn't failed once. The only way it does fail is on a waves, and even then there's no way of us failing it, because we know we've got the right number of buffs for Seer, and defense down is guaranteed basically with Ghostborn. This is actually a slow run, 1 minute 11, but you know, it varies between 102 and 108 normally, so that's actually a bit of a slow run. The RNG does come into question with Urogrim and Kymar. Not Kymar, but Bad El, sorry. Sometimes they can get resisted when they're poisons, which obviously slows down a run by a couple of seconds. But on average, when you run many runs, like I'll show RSL Helper again. Like I say, out of 74 runs, the average time was about 1 minute and 2 seconds. So we'll start off with Bad El Kazar. So he's second fastest on my team. Kymar's faster than him at 250-ish speed. Bad El is 244. He's got 250 AC and he's got 73k HP. He is in stalwart gear and he's got a bit of resistance as well. The resistance is there because this used to be his solo Dragon 20 sort of like build. But to be fair, you can get away with a bit less resistance. You don't need to worry about that side of things that much. Masteries wise, straight down into War Master, and important for Bad El, make sure you get Master Hexer and also Evil Eye for other areas of the game, not just like Dragon. We've also got Spirit Haste because when Seer dies, you gain an extra 8 speed basically. So we're using our speed Kymar with a lot of accuracy. It's the reason why he's got poisons on his A1, so we want a chance to land some poisons. He is weak affinity against the dragon, so he stands a less chance of getting poisons out there, but if we have the accuracy there, he stands a better chance, basically. He's 254 speed, so fastest in the team. Stats-wise, he's got 3k defense, 49k HP, and 483 accuracy. Masteries wise, he's straight down into Eagle Eye. Also picked up Master Hexer, so if he does land a poison, it's got a chance to be extended. And then we've gone down a defense tree into retribution and also deterrence, just to try to get some more poisons out with his A1 when we're against the dragon, if he gets a counterattack proc. Next up, we're going to have a look at Urogrim. Urogrim, we're probably going to change his masteries, to be fair. He's only got a 2-hitter now, so we may go to War Master, but at the moment he's in Giant Slayer. At support tree, you guessed it, down into Master Hexer, so you want the chance to extend any poisons he puts out. We've also put on Cycle of Magic, so it has a chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random skill, so hopefully he can decrease his A3's cooldown from time to time. But other than that, pretty straightforward, straight down into Giant Slayer and then get Master Hexer, really. Gear wise, we've got 218 speed, 72k HP, and then this was his solo Dragon 25 build, but since the nerf he can no longer do that, but I've not really needed to change his gear about to make it work, so he's in the same gear. But he's 218 speed, 266 resistance, 252 accuracy. Like I mentioned, resistance wise doesn't really matter too much because you got Bad El cleansing, but speed wise you want to make sure he's going fast-ish, just to try to get more poisons out there on the dragon. You do want to stack HP. Defense wise, 2.8k is kind of a minimum you want against the dragon, and other than that, these are the sort of points you want to be aiming for. He is in regen. Once again, he doesn't need to be in regen. This is purely because I had him as my solo dragon farmer for a little bit. Next up, we've got Seer. So Seer's in Savage, and Seer's probably going to be the hardest part of this to build because she's in Savage with a lot of crit damage. I've seen Seers with way more crit damage than this in Savage, so it may not be that hard for some of you, but this is the best I could do for her. Other than that, the main stats to worry about is your speed, so make sure she goes last in rotation, so you're not having to make her do her A2 before her A3. And you're going to have to play around with a build to make sure you get enough crit damage with the buffs you've got to kill for waves. Currently 277 crit damage is what works for me. If you can only get 250 crit damage, you may need to have someone in immunity, or you may need someone in shield set to be able to do this style run. It may not be enough buffs for her to destroy each wave. Other than that, she has got accuracy for Doom Tower, but it's not really needed in Dragon. You can probably see in her runs she dies at the dragon, and that's intentional. You don't want her to really survive. She slows down a run by basically walking in, hitting, walking back, slows down a run. So her dying to a first dragon AoE is actually really beneficial. So don't worry too much about your HP and defense. Masteries wise, she's down into Flawless Ek, and she's also down a support tree once again for Doom Tower. And lastly, we've got Ghostborn. So with Ghostborn, I've built him to be fast, so he's got to go before Seer, and at the dragon he's good to have go in pretty early on to make sure you get the defense down, just to allow him to do a bit more damage. He's 230 speed, 108 crit rate, 208 crit damage. Obviously, try not to overcap crit rate is pretty pointless, but crit damage, you can push him more. He does hit really hard. We've not worried about his accuracy because he doesn't need it for his A3 to land. It is nice to have a bit of accuracy for his A1 to land though, so you can build some of that in as well. We have stacked a bit of attack on him, so 3k attack. He does hit pretty well. I want to have a look at rebuilding this at some point to get him to hit more like 40-50k. But at the moment, this worked. I can't see that speeding up the run massively, so I've just focused on other areas of the game at the moment. Mastery-wise, he's got War Master and straight down in the defense tree. Pretty self-explanatory. We kind of cycle of violence. It's good to get the increased attack back out on our team, so the decreasing a cooldown of a random skill by 1 turn is quite handy. War Master, he's a single hitter, so this is the best way of him getting the most amount of damage basically. So yeah guys, this was my Dragon 25 speedrun team. on average around about 1 minute and 2 seconds for long periods of time. It sort of evens itself out from like the 1 minute 10 runs to the 1 minute runs. So, but it is more around that 1 minute mark than it is around a 1 minute 10 mark. If you have enjoyed the video, please like the video. It helps me out a bunch. We also stream on Twitch. The link for that is in the description below. And we have a Discord as well, so feel free to come join a Discord. As always, my videos, what I'll do is I'll leave a screenshot of the RSL helper team window so you guys can see the stats and screenshot it without my face blocking it. But other than that, if you've got any suggestions for videos, I think the last one I'm probably going to do is Fire Night 25. We've got a 1 minute 40 team, which isn't the best, but it's consistent and it doesn't use silly gear. It's quite realistic as for what it takes to do it, basically. But yeah, like I mentioned, this is my speed run team. This was actually a slower run, 1 minute 14, but like I showed on RSL Helper, on average 102. I'll catch you guys later and peace.